My people have always known that places have power, not as a figure of speech, as a plain fact about the world. There are places that give, and you have felt them. The shore where your breathing slows before you even sit down, the porch where problems shrink, the small church, the stand of trees, the kitchen of a certain friend. You walk out of those places carrying more than you carried in. And there are places that take. You have felt those too. Rooms you leave exhausted for no reason you can name. Buildings that put a weight on your chest in the doorway. Places you visit for an hour and pay for with 2 days. The old people organized their whole lives around this knowledge. They went to the giving places on purpose, and they avoided the taking places the way you avoid bad water. And they did not apologize for it, and they did not call it superstition. They called it knowing where things are. But here is what the old people understood that I most need you to hear tonight. Not every place has walls. Some of the most draining places a person can visit have no address at all. They are visited in a chair with the body still, and the visit is just as real, and the toll is just as heavy. Tonight I'm going to name 5 places that are draining your peace, and I'm going to tell you now, some have doors, and some do not. And the ones without doors are the ones you visit most. By the end, you will know exactly where your peace has been going. It has not been fading with age like they told you. It has been spent at 5 destinations, and you are the one holding the ticket. Let us look at where you have been traveling. The first place you must stop visiting is the past when you go there to argue. Now, hear me carefully, because the past is not forbidden ground. There are 2 ways to visit the past, and they are as different as the shore and the swamp. There is remembering, which is the elder's privilege, walking the old sunlit rooms, sitting with the good faces, tasting the sweetness again. That visit gives. Go often, but that is not the visit most of you make. Most of you go to the past to argue. You go back to the marriage to retry the case. You go back to the decision, the one from 1987, and stand at that crossroads again, running the other road, the one not taken, building the life that might have been, and grieving it like a real thing that was stolen from you. You go back to the conversation, and this time you say the right words. You go back to the person who wronged you, and this time you see it coming. Do you understand what this is? This is travel, real travel, costing real strength to a country where nothing can be changed, to conduct business that can never be concluded. The court is closed. The other parties have moved or aged or died. You are standing in an empty courtroom in a demolished building in a country that no longer exists, giving your testimony to dust. And then you come back to today, to the only place where your life is actually happening, and you wonder why you are so tired. My grandmother had a rule about this, and I give it to you as she gave it to me. Visit the past like a garden, never like a courtroom. If you catch yourself arguing back there, prosecuting, defending, redoing, come home immediately. Say it out loud if you must. That country is closed, and put your hands on something in the present. The cup, the dog, the doorframe, until you are all the way back. The past makes a beautiful garden and a terrible residence. Walk in it. Never move in. The second place you must stop visiting is the noise. And you know the noise, I mean, because it is probably within reach of your hand right now. The television that runs all day arguing, the news that starts your morning with the worst thing that happened anywhere on earth in the last 24 hours. The screens that have learned, and hear me, this is not an accident, they have learned that a disturbed person watches longer than a peaceful one, and so they serve you disturbance professionally, on schedule, forever. I have taught about this before, and I will keep teaching it, because I keep watching it eat the last years of good people. But tonight, I want to say the part I have not said. Ask yourself why you go there. honestly. Part of it is habit, but underneath the habit, for many of you, the noise is company. The house is quiet and the arguing voices fill it, and the endless emergency gives the day a pulse that the day otherwise lacks. You are not informed by it. You are accompanied by it. And I want you to see the trade you are making because it is one of the worst trades on this earth. You are trading your peace for the sensation of company, to voices that do not know you exist, that would not pause if you wept in front of them, that are paid, well paid, to keep your chest tight. That is not company. That is a machine drinking from you while making engine sounds that resemble a household. If it is company you need, and it is company every human needs, then spend the hour where company actually lives. The call to the friend, the bench outside, the coffee shop at the same time each morning. 1 hour of real faces gives more than 10 hours of the noise takes. Turn it off, not forever. I am not a radical. Check on the world briefly, like I taught you. Boots on and leave. But stop living there. Nobody can keep their peace while renting a room inside a fire alarm. I watched a man run this experiment on himself without meaning to, and the results should be published somewhere. His television broke. A man of 78 alone, television on from waking to sleep for years, and the set died on a Tuesday. And the new one, through some confusion of deliveries, took 11 days to arrive. And he told me the first 2 days were genuinely hard. The silence was loud. The way I have taught you it gets. But by the 4th day, he said something strange was happening. He was sleeping deeper. By the 6th day, he noticed his jaw was not tight anymore. And he had not known his jaw was tight. That is how long it had been tight. He started sitting on the porch in the evening because the house was too quiet and the neighbors started joining him. And by the 2nd week, they had a checkers habit. And when the new television finally came, he plugged it in, watched his old programs for one evening, and told me he could feel it happening again, the tightening, the low hum of alarm coming back into his body like water finding an old channel. 11 days was all it took to feel the difference between the noise and his own life. He keeps the television now, but he says the porch won. Let the porch win. You do not need your set to break. You just need to remember that yours has an off switch, and his experiment already ran, and the results are in. Before I share the next teaching, I need to tell you something. I am not going to be here forever, and most of what I know was never written anywhere. So I sat down and I wrote it. All of it. 20 teachings, 4 parts, in the order they were meant to be received. The ones about the places that give and the places that take. The ones about guarding the door of your remaining days. The ones I have never said on camera. It is called the native way, and it costs less than one dinner you will not remember. Or look in the comments, but do not leave yet, because the next place on this list is one you visit with the best intentions in the world, and it is draining you worse than the first 2 combined. The 3rd place you must stop visiting is other people's storms. This is the place you visit with love in your hands, which is why it is so hard to stop. The daughter's marriage trouble, the son's money trouble, the neighbor's endless feud, the friend whose crisis has a new chapter every week, and who calls you to read you each one. You enter these storms as a helper, and hear me, when your help is asked for and your help can help, giving it is right and good, and I will never teach otherwise. But look honestly at most of your visits to other people's weather. Nothing is asked of you except attendance. Nothing you say changes anything. The same storm, the same chapters, month after month, year after year, and your role is to stand in the rain beside them, getting soaked, absorbing thunder, and go home wet. And here is the truth nobody tells kind people. Your soaking does not dry anyone. Your worry adds nothing to their outcome. You lying awake over your son's finances does not move his numbers by $1. You carrying your daughter's marriage in your chest all week does not soften one argument in her house. The storm does not know you are standing in it. Only you pay for your attendance, and you pay everything, and it purchases nothing. The old people had a way of holding this. They said, "You can love the sailor without boarding the sinking boat. Stand on the shore, keep the fire lit, be the fixed point they can swim to, warm, dry, steady. That is worth 1,000 times more than one more soaked body in the water." From tonight, when the storm calls, ask the only question that matters. Is there a thing I can actually do? If yes, do it with your whole heart. If no, love them from the shore. The shore is not a lesser love. The shore is the love that's still standing when the storm finally ends. And I want to give one sentence to the mothers, especially, because I know who carries this heaviest. A woman told me once, "My children's pain is my pain. That is what a mother is," and she said it like a law of nature. And half of you just nodded along with her. And I answered her gently, and I answer you the same. Your children's pain will always touch you. That is love, and no teaching of mine will change it, or should. But there is a difference between being touched by their storm and moving into it. She had moved in. She had been living inside her grown son's troubles for 11 years, full residence, while her own life stood empty as an unwatered garden. And when her son finally came through his long weather, and he did come through, you know what he found? A mother so depleted, so aged by a decade of standing in rain that was never hers, that his first clear season was spent worrying about her. Do you see it? Her soaking did not shorten his storm by one day, and it handed him a new one the moment his ended. The dry mother on the shore would have been the greater gift. Be the dry one for their sake as much as yours. The fourth place you must stop visiting is the marketplace of comparison. This place has many doors. The reunion where everyone recites their grandchildren's achievements. The holiday letter. The phone in your hand showing you the vacations, the anniversaries, the shining tables of people you barely know. The conversation with the old friend that somehow always becomes an accounting, their travels against your quiet, their bustling family against your Sundays, their portfolio, their health, their luck. Every visit to this marketplace follows the same law, and the old people knew the law well. Comparison is a market where everyone leaves poorer. Everyone. Even the winners, because the winners must come back and win again forever. And that is its own poverty. You walk in carrying a life, your life, whole and specific, the only one of its kind ever made. And the marketplace teaches you in minutes to see it as an inventory and to price it against inventories you cannot even inspect. Because hear me, you are comparing your insides to their outsides, your midnight worries against their holiday letter, your full truth against their highlight. It is not even a fair market. It is rigged, every stall of it. My grandmother would not enter it at all. When the reciting started at gatherings, she would go quiet and smile and let it pass her like weather. And if pressed for her own accounting, she would say only, "We are well," and mean it, and offer nothing for pricing. I asked her once why she never told her own good news in those circles. And she said, "Because news told for weighing is not news anymore. It is merchandise, and my life is not for sale. Let them hold the market without you. Your life stops being poor the moment you stop pricing it." And the fifth place, the one I saved for last because it is the hardest to leave, is the place called what they think of you. You have been visiting this place your whole life. It is the invisible room where the jury sits, what the family says about you when you are not there, how the decision looked, what the neighbors concluded, whether you are considered generous enough, successful enough, good enough, whether the ones who doubted you have been proven right. You go to this room a dozen times a day, some of you. Every choice gets walked down there and shown to the jury. Every word you said at the gathering gets replayed before them at midnight. And I'm going to tell you two facts about that room, and the first one is going to sting. The jury is not thinking about you. That is the great secret of the room. The people whose opinions you are visiting are at this exact moment in their own invisible rooms, worrying about their own juries, on which, by the way, you sit. Everyone is performing for an audience that is busy performing for an audience. The theater is running day and night, and there is nobody in any of the seats. And the second fact, even when they do think of you, even when there is a real opinion in a real head, hear this. Their opinion of you lives in their head. It is furniture in their house, not yours. It weighs nothing until you go over and carry it home. You have spent 70 years hauling furniture out of other people's heads into your own chest. Stop the hauling. You are 3 decades past the age where any jury holds power over your life. They cannot fire you. They cannot deny you anything you still need. The verdict, whatever it is, comes with no sentence attached. You are, for perhaps the first time since childhood, free. Actually free. And the only thing keeping you in that jury room is the habit of the walk. Break the walk. When you catch yourself heading down there tonight, stop at the door and say the old words, "Their thoughts live in their house. I live in mine." And turn around and come home to the porch, to the present, to the one opinion that has ever actually governed your peace, yours. I knew a woman who left that room at 83, and I keep her story for exactly this moment. 83 years of jury visits. A careful woman, a proper woman. Every hat chosen for the verdict. Every decision walked past the invisible judges first. And at 83 she took up painting. Terrible painting. She would tell you so herself. Joyful, terrible painting. Big, strange colors. And she hung her terrible paintings in her front window, facing the street. And her daughter, embarrassed, asked her, "Mother, what will people think?" And this woman, 83 years old, put down her brush and said the sentence I want you to carry out of this teaching. She said, "Darling, I spent 80 years asking that question, and I finally realized nobody ever answered. Nobody ever answered." All those years of submitting her life to the jury, and the jury never once sent back a verdict that fed her, warmed her, or held her hand at night. The room was empty the whole time. She painted for 4 more years, terribly, gloriously in the window. And I promise you no happier woman lived on that street. So, there are the 5. The past visited as a courtroom, the noise, other people's storms, the marketplace of comparison, and the jury room of their opinions. Notice one last time that not one of them has a door you could lock. Everyone is entered through attention. And that is the best news in this whole teaching because it means the leaving is also through attention. And attention is the one power that age never takes from you. It grows. You cannot always control where your body can go anymore, but where your attention goes, that is sovereign territory, yours to command until your last breath. Command it. Post a guard at it. Ask all day if you must, the question my grandmother asked, "Where am I right now, and is this a place that gives?" And if it takes, leave. You do not need a reason. You do not need permission. You do not owe the draining places one more visit. 70 years of tickets to 5 destinations that only ever took tear up the tickets. Your peace was never lost, my friend. It was just spent on travel. Stay home in this hour, on this porch, in this one warm day you actually have. It is the only place on earth that has ever given you everything and charged you nothing. It has been waiting for you to notice. Notice. If what you heard today stayed with you, the book is there. The Native Way. 20 teachings, 100 pages. Written the I would speak to you if we were sitting together, with your phone, or find the link in the comments. Read 1 chapter. Sit with it. Now, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments which of the 5 places have you been visiting the most and how long have you held the ticket? I read every comment. And if this is the kind of conversation you have been looking for, subscribe to this channel. We are not collecting viewers here. We are collecting people who remember. Come back next week. I am not done teaching yet.